Bots.
Bots and algorithms. Everything controls us. Bots and algorithms. We don't have free will.
What's funny is the King and the Sting's new episode is called Dumb and Dahmer.
Oh.
Which we talked about Dumb and Dumber. And then we talked about jokes and Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, we are just always on the cusp.
Dude, we're always saying, thank you for tuning in to this podcast, and I want you to know we're the tip of the iceberg. We're the tip of the sphere, not tip of the iceberg. That's a slow ocean floater. We're the tip of the spear. And
yeah.
Will and
I Mary's visiting the tribes getting killed.
You hear about things on this podcast, and then 2 days later they blow up in popular culture.
Yeah, you think, oh, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden, sometimes it's not 2 days, sometimes it's like 2 weeks. Sometimes it's already in the past. Sometimes we already visited it and everyone catches up.
I know. Sometimes stuff happens in the news. I'm like, oh my gosh, we recorded that episode 2 weeks ago and nobody's going to know. Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. I have a few dark jokes at the end, so it'll be a nice, well, it won't be a transition, but wait, when does this come out? Halloween week? This could be our spooky episode.
No, because there's one on Halloween.
Oh, what? Okay, we got to think of something to do. Okay, well,
costumes. We're going to have to do costumes for audio costumes.
Well, voice transformers.
Audio costume.
That's funny. All right. Go ahead.
I can't think of, I was going to try to do a voice, but it was going to be bad.
Yoda. You can always do Yoda.
Can I always do Yoda?
Wear my costume, I will. I can do it.
A bad joke this is. No, I was going to try to do the one that sounds like the computer voice but you suck in instead of talk out.
Yeah.
This is hard to do. This is really a nice time.
I never tried that.
Kind of like what's his name?
Stephen Hawking?
Hawking. I wanted to say Alan Turing. That was my wrong mathematician.
Wrong scientist. All right. Do you want to start with some jokes?
Sure. When are some headlines? Did you hear about this? A new study has come out that says white rice is as bad as candy when it comes to...
Oh, come on.
Newsflash to 60% of the world, your main source of nutrition is like candy.
I know. That's what I always think of when I always think of like go low on carbs and stuff like that. First of all, I think of like most of the world is eating rice and or pasta. Mm-hmm. It basically controls the world.
Yeah.
And what about the blue zones are all vegetarians? Mostly. The people that lived 100.
Oh, I didn't know it's called the blue zone.
Oh, yeah, it's called blue zones.
Japan.
Yeah, there's one of the biggest concentrations in Japan. There's another one in California, and do you want to know why?
Old people.
But well, by definition, yes.
It's like a retirement community.
Sort of. But it's for
Army.
Seventh-day Adventists.
Really?
Seventh-day Adventists are traditionally vegetarian.
Interesting.
Yes, there's a big concentration somewhere in Southern California, I think. I didn't know that, but then I looked into it later. Interesting.
That is. I would never have thought that in my entire life. I would have thought they'd die faster.
Oh, just go watch that sexy show with Zac Effron where he looks around the world.
It's in there?
Yeah.
I did watch the water one.
Yeah.
The water sommelier. How about all of his horrible plastic surgery?
Yeah. Yeah, because
he got attacked by bees.
Yeah, because he said he tripped and fell and broke his jaw when he was like horsing around at his house, and he broke his jaw on a fountain at his house.
Mm-hmm. I have never heard this poor excuse.
Well, he said he almost died, so they had to like cut his jaw.
Yeah.
And wire it back together.
Why are his lips huge? Why are his cheeks bigger?
I know. It doesn't make sense. Why his jaw is so square?
We all know. Just admit it.
I know.
Just be like Cardi. Says, I got giant, perfect, fake tits, and I paid for them, and I love them.
He said he didn't even know there was rumors about it because he's not on social media until his mom said, "Did you get plastic surgery?" And he's like, "No, Mom, no."
Oh, jeez. From his own mother. Did you hear Dan Bilzerian? Is that how you say his?
Bilzerian.
Screwed that up. Bilzerian has explained the secret to having sex 9 times in one day. He's right on par for me, too, when I visit Iceland and this daylight lasts 6 months.
He said the secret to having sex 9 times in one day?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a secret. You just put your penis in. 9. It's not complicated.
I know that one needs a rewrite. I was trying to think of the winter sun of the north.
I liked it.
Speaking of which, if you're listening, I'm still in the Great White North, beyond the wall.
Oh, yeah.
I visited Castle Black, and now I'm with the wildlings.
Oh.
That's Game of Thrones.
I got it.
You know that?
Well, I understand the references. I haven't watched it. I have seen the pictures of the eating the penis. Speaking of penises. Ugh.
Eating a penis.
Eating the penis and the chopped off the penis? And the penis and the penis and the Game of Thrones?
When someone eats it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I'm going to Google that. Eating penis.
Careful now. There's a flag on the hotel Wi-Fi.
There's a couple times where I was trying to find that teacher that had the giant.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard to Google.
Definitely.
Giant boob teacher.
All right. I got a few jokes for you. I got a few jokes for you, Will, and you, the listener.
Okay.
After a 2-year hiatus from Twitter, Kanye West logged on to say he's going DEFCON 3 on the Jews. So head to your nearest Foot Locker where you can find the DEFCON 3s in black, gray, and white lives matter. Yes, Kanye West wore a White Lives Matter t-shirt at the latest Yeezy fashion show. The shirt is being released as the top half of their Vietnam vet Halloween costume. Members
He's
of
great.
I know. Members of the LAPD gang raped a woman, then may have killed their fellow officer who was investigating them. More like defund the police, am I right? Defund. They're just having too much fun over there.
Oh my gosh. That's a good one.
Fired Peloton instructor. Fired Peloton instructor Daniel McKenna is alleging anti-Irish discrimination in a $1.8 million lawsuit, which could buy like so many boxes of Lucky Charms.
So many potatoes.
High levels of the toxic chemical BPA was found in sports bras from a variety of brands.
Oh, man.
BPA is the cancer-causing ingredient found in many water bottles. Watch your jugs, ladies.
I was going to say, I need to stop drinking out of so many sports bras.
So you got to switch to a boob mug.
Yeah, to a ceramic boob mug instead of BPA-filled sports bras.
Okay. Politics are in the news. I got to go political for a second. The news this week reported that Dr. Oz, who is already guilty of selling fake medical products, also illegally killed 300 dogs in unregulated science experiments, proving that Mike Vick was either too early or too black to kill a few dogs.
Oh, jeez.
I
thought you were going to go Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, yeah. In 2007, the former quarterback killed 6 or 7 dogs and did 21 months in federal prison. Dr. Oz killed 300 dogs and will be taking the oath of office in January. Not only that, but Mike Vick killed bad dogs. He killed killer dogs. The kind of dogs you don't want roaming around the streets. Politicians promised to make cities safer, but only Mike Vick did it. Vic 2024.
Wait, did Dr. Oz get officially elected?
No.
Oh.
But for the joke,
he's running
for the joke, he needed to be, yeah. He's running for something of senator or something, or governor, whatever.
Arizona.
Pennsylvania. He's not even from there.
Pennsylvania?
I know, he's got 10 homes. He's just meme warring.
I want a home in Pennsylvania.
He's just meme warring with the other candidate. He's losing the meme war.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe I should go into politics.
It basically is meme wars now. And directly following the puppy killing story, Dr. Oz gave a speech in front of Hitler's personal car at a fundraiser. Some people say the speech was at a museum, so it's no big deal. In fact, yesterday I took a Zoom in front of Kim Jong-un's RAV4. Stumbled. I killed it. In museum news, there's a petition in Egypt asking for the Rosetta Stone to be returned from London's British Museum. But would this really right the wrongs of the past? What, are we supposed to start giving dinosaurs their bones back?
Classic.
Okay. Take a deep breath before this one. We're going to end on some politics.
Right.
No Tulsi Gabbard. An ex-girlfriend of pro-life candidate Herschel Walker reportedly kept his baby and tore his get well card into bits. Sorry, no, she kept the card and tore the baby into bits.
Okay, I love that one.
One would expect any child of the Heisman-winning All-Pro running back to be a great athlete, and this one excelled at dumpster diving.
Herschel Walker.
Now let's turn our attention to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dumb and Dahmer.
Speaking of killing,
So have you watched it?
no, I told you I wasn't going to watch it.
Okay, yeah.
I've seen the
Yeah,
memes.
so Dahmer, the show, is out on Netflix,
I've seen the thirsting.
and it's a station acting.
Hold on, I'm losing you for a second. Oh, poor connection. It's the worst time to have poor connection, right? When you're talking.
So yeah,
Dramatization.
the actor, I forget.
Yeah.
But there was killing it, pun intended. Because I saw some like recordings from the actual Jeffrey Dahmer, and at one point Lauren was listening to one on the phone, and I thought she was watching a clip from the show.
Ugh.
His voice was so like exact.
Yeah.
His Midwestern mumbling accent.
Ugh. Evan Peters, is that his name?
That sounds right. Wasn't he like the Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
X-Men?
Yeah.
Not Silver Surfer, but
yeah, the speed guy.
Yeah,
I know what you meant.
He has this Midwestern. Like, you want to come over and have some beer? Like he kind of like mumbles, but has like the classic like Minnesotan accent.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, acting is amazing, but it was a little much. But then you're halfway through it, and when it gets to the craziness, and then you're like, I gotta finish out, see it, everything, because I don't know the whole story. I knew the gist of it.
You can go to Wikipedia?
I went to Wikipedia, and that's where the problem started. So I go onto Wikipedia, and I start reading about his early childhood. And it's starting to sound like my early childhood. Then it gets right to the show at almost the same time as reading it. It gets to the spot in the show where the dad's like, I think I know why he's like this, to the cops after he's already been arrested and everything.
Mm.
Kind of does like a precursor, like shows him getting arrested, but then goes into the whole story. So it's only like episode 1 or 2 or whatever.
Parents moved to Tennessee at 18?
No, earlier. Earlier than that. It says, I think I know why this happened. When he was a young boy, like 3 or 4, he had hernia surgery. That's like the main thing. It's like the main thing he says when it all started.
What?
Which is what I had when I was like 3 or 4.
Oh my gosh.
He says the dad says before he had the hernia surgery, he was like a happy-go-lucky kid, and then he had the hernia surgery, and then he was all weird.
What could have happened? Bacteria?
Something.
Because it wouldn't be in your balls.
No, it's not your balls, for one.
It's near your balls. There's different kinds of hernias, man.
Yeah, it's the inguinal hernia.
Well, I'm just assuming because it was sexual in nature that it was something testicle related.
No, it's something about him being like under anesthesia and his brain getting screwed up. So his dad thought. But you watch the show and that's not it. His whole family and everything's all screwed up, and his mom was on drugs and whatever, and his dad never hugged him or anything.
Sexual abuse?
It's
probably his dad.
Abuse. But it was more like neglect.
Sexual neglect?
Everything neglect.
Incel. It's just an incel.
Neglect. Incel. Did you see Jordan Peterson crying, saying he's the
yes.
leader of the incel?
Talk about your stock going downhill over the last few years.
I can never take that guy seriously though. Piers Morgan, ever since he was like a host on the X Factor or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Now you're a political pundit.
Well, he was that first. He was like a big reporter in the UK first. But he did all this shady stuff. Like they used to have like a national like voice and like a national voicemail system or something like that. And
National voicemail.
I know.
Who checks it?
Well, that was the thing. So they were like easily hacked or something. So they were like going into like these newsworthy people's, either celebrities, political figures, whatever.
Oh, it was like here. Oh, so you could like go into someone like my voicemail on my phone.
Yeah. Because it was like easily started to be easily hackable.
Weird.
Whack-a-mole.
And he had like some
shady. Have you heard a lot of like the stuff with the newspapers?
Like Alec Baldwin type voicemail.
Yeah.
You pig.
You pig. Oh my gosh. Have you
10-year-old pig slut.
That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, he was kind of like, those newspapers over there are kind of shady or whatever.
I don't.
Well,
never been.
Well, they are.
They should adjust the toner on their printers if they're too shady. Printing jokes.
Yeah. So Dahmer.
That was just Big Nate. It's a professional printer, amongst other things. Yeah. So Dahmer. Yeah. That's when I was like, oh shoot. I was like, maybe I really escaped something. I wonder how much they've looked into serial killers and if they've had hernia surgeries at a young age.
They must have a database on serial killers because, I mean, on Riverdale, they're chasing serial killers all the time, and that's fake. So I hope they're doing more for the real ones.
Another great show to watch, which is partial. What do they call it? Where it's like fiction based on truth.
Yeah, based on a true story.
Yeah, but it's I guess.
Yeah.
That's called
historical fiction.
Yeah, historical fiction. So it's like Mindhunter, and they use the real like tapes. It's this section of the FBI, this group. They're the first ones to investigate serial killers back in the 60s or maybe it's 50s or 60s. And they didn't even have the term serial killers. It was like that wasn't even a thing.
What, pancake killers?
Yeah. Grits killers. But and then they went around and interviewed these serial killers, which ended up being serial killers that were already like in jail. And so they used those tapes to make the scenes from the show. They like recreated them.
That's what I was saying. I heard something. I don't really remember any details from it, but I heard, yeah, that was a thing that once the technology got around to you could make a sort of a database, or other states could talk to other states and everything more easily. They started to wonder if there might be patterns or whatever.
Yeah, because like back before that and databases and sharing information, it was like go kill 14 people in Iowa and then move to Mississippi and no one knows who you are.
Yeah. Norm Macdonald used to always talk about the fact that like the OJ trial was like one of the main first
public trials
where they used DNA. So so people were like, DNA evidence, what's that?
Right.
Come to find out it's like, 1 in a trillion,
And then they used was it the 23andMe stuff to catch that killer from like he did the killings forever ago, but now he was like in his 70s.
Yeah, down in California or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, up until it's only been a couple decades that people, really.
Yeah, that's when people are like, did serial killers really not exist prior to 1970 whatever?
Yeah.
It's like they were probably out there.
Well, I even think of that with like a little bit. I know this. I'm sure it still goes on today, but like the CIA and the FBI I've read about it a lot with, not a lot, but with Martin Luther King Jr. and like Malcolm X and stuff, and just how they were setting them up to be killed, assassinating them, and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird how even back then, I mean, even the like quote unquote like good guys or government, it's like they were still working in the shadows, for their benefit as well too. Just doing everything in secret. It wasn't just Joe Schmo serial killer down the street. It was everybody was just like, okay, we'll just kill whoever we want to.
Yeah.
And nobody will know.
Wild, Wild West.
If nobody's there with a typewriter, nobody will know.
Stenograph. Watching someone do a stenography.
Oh yeah.
It just looks fake.
That's why I love watching those cop cam videos when they don't turn them off,
The body.
Yeah, the body cams.
Yeah.
Like there's like cops with body cams still like planting evidence and and still like arresting people for nothing. That's most of them that come up at
They
my
like
TikTok.
go back to the car and like you see him like throw a little baggie in there.
It's like yeah, it's crazy.
I know. I love any page that's called like taxpayer audit or something like on TikTok or something.
I think we talked about that, but I love the people who go around with their phones out just like this, like around like a police station or whatever. They'll be like, "This is my First Amendment.
Okay.
This is my First Amendment. Are you familiar with RCW 20.25?"
Yeah. My favorite guy now is the guy who does that. He like goes around. He'll be at either like a crime scene or like a public building, like a police building or something. And he has another guy there that he goes with. So he films and then he starts talking to whoever he's with just about, and he'll purposely like go into like a boring conversation, like a rant about nothing. He'll just like talk about, so Washington State was formed in 18 blah blah blah, and he like goes in like this whole just talking, like reading out of an encyclopedia essentially, or having this conversation. And then when a cop comes up and tries to talk to him, he tells him like, shh, excuse me, like please be quiet. I'm talking. Please don't interrupt me. And he like continues on with his bogus conversation, but he's like filming them.
That's awesome.
They get so worked up about it.
I know they
like,
do.
The cop comes up and they're like, "What are you doing here, sir?" or whatever. And he's, shh, I'm talking.
That's awesome. I mean, not awesome, but awesome.
Yeah, that was on TikTok. Or the people. I love the people, for the fact of it, them like sticking to their guns, but I also hate the videos because they're annoying and long. Of whenever they get like pulled over and they roll the window down like a quarter inch. Like, I don't ask any questions. I don't ask any questions.
Oh, yeah.
Am I being detained?
Am I being detained? That's always one.
It is a good question to ask. Because a lot of cops say yes.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, exactly. That's the thought in my head. It's like, in a weird way, this is sort of necessary, but also it's just like insane. Like, wouldn't your energy be better served? Like, I mean, doing almost literally anything else with your life, I guess.
Right. Or then there's the ones where the body cams of cops pulling over like judges or other like local.
Oh yeah, they get
local
pissed.
Government type people.
You're really gonna do this?
Yeah.
You're really gonna do this? You know who I am, and you're still gonna do this? I can talk to your supervisor. Yeah.
They call their boss. This guy's got me pulled over.
What medical procedure do you think those police video guys had that makes them so obsessed with filming the police?
The taxpayer audit.
Yeah, if hernias make you kill people, what makes you do a taxpayer audit?
Skin tag removal.
Let's get the database going.
I would say when they probably, it's probably not a medical thing. They probably something in school. They probably had something happening in school. I'm trying to think. Why would they be checking on the system and wanting to videotape it? Like they got failed by the system somehow.
No, it's some like Chad. This is what it is. It's some Chad beat them up.
Oh yeah.
And then somehow, because they love that they have power over the cop, and then the cop has zero power to do anything to them. That's that's what they're really getting off on, is the fact that they're actually in a position of at least equal standing, but in their mind, power position.
Right. Then you get on another tangent of videos of people impersonating cops.
Oh, I have not got on that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like people acting like they're cops, and they like try to. Most of the ones I've seen, they do it to like try to get out of the ticket or whatever. And then he's like saying, well, what department are you with or whatever? And he's like, well, I'm, and like this, he can never like answer. He's like, well, if you just tell me what who you're with, I can look it up or whatever. The cop, it's like trying to help him out, and then they go back and it shows the body cam of the cop arresting them like later that day for impersonating at their house or whatever.
I watched those videos too, and the guy comes to the door. He's like, knock, 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 and he's like, "Did somebody here call the police?" All right, that's good. We can end the episode with a schlong. Anyway, back in session next week. Back in the studio. Back to the grind. Studio grind. Rise and grind.
Next week on Halloween.